The final touch, Tompkins designed this crown to bid the king of pop farewell. May I pick it up?
Yes.
It looks like ermine down here. It's not real, is
faux.
it? Faux ermine.
Faux ermine.
It's a show crown.
Show crown.
For perhaps the greatest showman of them all. You can't help but think he would have loved seeing his children proudly carry that crown.
When the casket was brought in at Forest Lawn into the service, Prince and Paris and Blanket lifted and put it on the center of the flowers on the coffin.
Well, that must have been a moment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is the first time Tompkins, Fay, and Bush have talked about their employer and friend. So, Karen, tell me about the first time you met him.
I met him in the summer of 1982.
Just a little bit softer.
She'd been called in to do his hair and makeup for the cover of Thriller, which would become the biggest-selling album of all time. And he'd brought along a surprise, a baby tiger.
I was more fascinated with that tiger than I was with him. So I think he really enjoyed that my attention wasn't totally focused on him.
In fact, a little-known fact, you flashed him that first day.
Oh, okay. I undid the top of my jeans and I just flashed him because I happened to have worn some tiger underwear that day. And he went, ah! And he was just so embarrassed by that. I quickly buttoned it up, but I think that's why he called me back the next job.
You think?
I think so.
He liked people who had a sense of humor.
Yes, absolutely.
He also liked people who had a sense of style. For more than 2 decades, the majority of Jackson's most memorable outfits came out of the workshop run by Dennis Tompkins. If you had to sum up his style, what was it?
Liberace has gone to war.
Liberace has gone to war.
Liberace,
There you go.
And I said that's pretty good.
His genius as an artist is unquestioned, but we wanted to know about the persistent rumors that followed him. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not he was abusing drugs. Nobody was in a more intimate position than the three of you to know. Kind of popular wisdom was that after the Pepsi commercial, where his hair caught on fire, and he had to take painkillers at that
That's
point.
not true.
That's not true.
That's not true because that's not where it initially started.
Fay insists Jackson's use of prescription drugs began in 1993, 9 years after the Pepsi commercial.
Just before we went on tour for Dangerous, he had an operation in order to help the scarring. But he didn't have enough time to heal. We were getting on a plane and going right to Bangkok. So in order to keep going, he started using some painkillers because it was very painful when the nerve endings are severed.
Do you know what he was taking?
Oh, no. No, I don't.
It wasn't out in the open. It wasn't.
No.
But it was while they were in Bangkok, Jackson's world exploded.
Police sources say the charges involve a 13-year-old boy.
Amidst reports that California authorities were investigating him for sexually abusing a 13-year-old boy.
So now we're talking physical pain, and now we're talking emotional pain.
The day that came out, he was stepping on stage in front of like 80,000 people.
Jackson went through with the performance, but the price was high.
It was devastating because he had to go out every day in front of a world and the media who was telling
Crushing
everybody
it, that
he was a pedophile, but he still went out and had to face everybody.
Aided, Fay says, by painkillers.
It gave him some sort of ability to get through it.
But even then, Jackson couldn't sleep, say Bush and Fay. And the combined toll of the allegations and touring was showing, at least backstage.
You have to understand his adrenaline was so intense. Sometimes it would take him 2 days.
2 days to go to sleep.
For his adrenaline just to come down from one show.
In 1994, Jackson settled out of court with his accuser, but nearly a decade later, yet another boy came forward, also alleging sexual abuse.
The most loving thing to do is to share your bed with someone.
That remark from a British documentary was so incendiary, it fueled Jackson's prosecution.
You say the word bed, a lot of people think sexual, and that was the farthest thing from Michael's mind. I mean, we would go do an award show, you come back, everyone jumped on the bed with 15 people on a bed watching the show or cartoons or whatever movie he had to show.
You never saw, you never heard anything in the course of a 25-year relationship that made you think that Michael Jackson was a pedophile?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I absolutely feel I would have seen something over the years, but not a thing.
Not guilty. A dramatic victory for Michael Jackson.
And after a 3.5-month trial, Jackson was acquitted, though the taint of the accusation continued to linger. Tonight, for the first time, his friends reveal how devastating the trial was for him. They were there at Neverland every morning getting him ready. Faye says the routine was always the same, beginning at 3 a.m.
Before I washed his hair, we actually knelt down on the ground. And he put his arms around me, and I put my arms around him, and he would put his head right here and weep. And we would pray for God to help us and for people to know the truth. And then we'd get up and wipe our tears, and I would wash his hair.
Do you think he thought he was going to be convicted, Karen?
He didn't know. I mean, it was so vicious. I had to walk the red carpet into that courtroom every day in front of all the cameras.
And every day for that long walk, he had a new outfit, designed by his old pals, delivered every morning at 6 a.m., a boost for his morale.
And after you got him dressed, it's like, we love you. No, I love you more.
When we come back, new, intimate details from his final weeks from those who were at his side. Did you think that he was vulnerable enough that he might die?
Yes.
Yes.